Hello, welcome to the March 2016 Kula Yoga Shala teacher feature. Hanging out with Dakota Dawkins this week. Hello, Dakota.
Hello.
Dakota teaches the Yin Yang fusion practice at 12 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, right on the deck outside. And so we're here to learn a little bit more about that practice and get to know Dakota as well. So thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so um, we post these. Obviously, they're posted up on the website, and they go on the newsletter and everything. And the whole idea is just to give students that are considering attending the class a little bit more information about it, but also a sense of getting to know you. So that maybe we could begin there, and you could give people. I don't know. Let's start with a fun question. Maybe what is yoga? And by the way, he has no idea. He has not prepared anything, and I just made that question up a second ago. So, so maybe that will give people a sense of how you kind of orientate yourself around the practice.
Okay. To me, yoga, well, if you were to translate the word yoga, it means union. So I like to really share that with people and let them know that, yoga is really anything that makes you feel whole, makes you feel connected, and bringing all of those aspects of yourself, your mind, your body, your breath, your awareness, everything coming together so it's united into one. For me, that's what yoga is, and that's what I hope to achieve in teaching yoga for my students.
So when and knowing you and you're wise beyond your years and so present all the time and mindful in everything you do. Um, how do you feel when you teach a class like at the beginning? If it feels, people come in, it feels like a little scattered energetically and everything. Do you have any practices that you have that like help you hold to that intention and then kind of enroll people into that?
Yeah, I usually like to start out pretty slow. Something really mellow, maybe a child's pose. A lot of times I'll start with legs up the wall, and I'll slowly transition just to start to very subtly open the body, and then move into some pranayamas. So usually Nadi Shodhana, or maybe something else that's a little more calming, maybe like the river breath, ratio breathing. So I like to keep it mellow in the beginning to kind of sink in and get into that space before moving on to more physical asana and moving into a more intense practice. But typically I keep it pretty mellow.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the classes do tend to follow the nature of the teacher to some degree, and that's where this comes in as well. And what is it that you love most about teaching yoga?
I just love being able to share my practice with people, and when people come to class and they give it their all, and I'm able to guide them in a way that I can tell that they're honoring themselves. That's probably what I love the most, is seeing that connection that people have to their practice.
Is there like what is it about the practice though that really calls you back to it? What really drives your inspiration?
It's just really the feeling and the connection that I gain through having a yoga practice and being able to bring my meditation into my body, into those places where I experience holding and all these tight areas and all these difficult, situations in life, and bringing awareness and breath into those spaces and allowing for that to release, and me feeling like I've, moved past something and moved forward in a positive direction.
Awesome. How did you find your way to yoga practice in the first place?
That's a good question. I started meditating as a way when I was a little kid to help me fall asleep. My parents taught me how to consciously breathe. So I kind of took that awareness of breathing and being aware of my breath, took that into my everyday life. So if I ever got stressed out, I would just focus on my breath and start to work with my breath. And then I eventually stumbled into a yoga class one day, and believe it or not, the first 4 to 6 classes I took were just didn't really connect. I was really tight physically. I didn't really have much of a physical outlet to get any energy moving in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did experience my first yoga class, I was very tense and very almost anxious,
Mm-hmm.
because here I am trying to experience, yoga, or what I thought yoga to be at that time,
Right.
and my body's screaming at me.
Right.
I couldn't even, I could not touch my toes at all. Like anywhere near like folding forward to touch my toes was like, whoa.
So what brought you back? What
Um,
kept you coming back?
Honestly, I had no idea, but I just kept trying, and I just kept going to yoga. Like my friends would just keep inviting me to yoga.
I love it. It's like this whole like clan of you guys that started showing up at Kula someday and never stopped, coming. And it's been amazing to see just this like younger generation. For people watching, Dakota's 19 and he's already teaching yoga, and you can hear all the ideas that spew forth from his mind. It's amazing to think about. What were you thinking about when you were 19? Um, and I love that, and I love that about you, that you bring such an authenticity and also a passion for the deeper dimensions of yoga as a spiritual practice. And that's what's so great about having you here at Kula. And do you feel that you are drawn to reach a certain population? Is it your age group? Is it anyone? Where do you feel most connected in terms of students?
I would really like to help people. Really, really would like to help people in terms of, I'm thinking about very soon, like reaching out to some rehabilitation centers and checking that out, because I feel like that's where this practice really goes to the next level in helping people and healing people, is when you have things that you really need to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And you take the time to work those things out and breathe into those spaces and figure out what your relationship is to those things. But in general, I'm really open to anybody, coming to class, and whoever wants to show up and, practice. Totally open to that.
Was the desire to kind of reach out and help people and be of service, was that your calling to then become a teacher, or was it more to just figure out what all this yoga stuff was that you were experiencing and just dive deeper in? Or what kind of compelled you to jump into teacher training?
It was a little bit of both. I definitely wanted to learn more about the yoga practice, and the training that you offered through Kula was just incredible, and did exactly that. I learned so much from the training here, and was able to really get a good foundation of books, to have a good understanding of what the yoga practice is all about, historically. And that was a big part of it, but definitely moving forward and being able to share that with other people too was a big part of my intention for choosing the training here at Kula.
Awesome, and I'm glad it did the trick for you.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I have one other question for you. You're a musician, and I was wondering if you could talk about. You just have like a minute or so left, but kind of briefly, how your musicianship inspires your yoga practice and teaching, and if you ever bring that into your classes as well.
Cool. Yeah, I would definitely like to, and I love talking about sound. Sound is really everything. Through my studies, just independently in my meditations, I came across sacred geometry about 3 years ago, and that completely changed everything. And it if you don't know about sacred geometry, I highly recommend you look into it. But what it is basically the architecture of the universe. It's the way everything works. And when you look at everything at a more subtle level, at a really fine level, everything works like sound. So when you are using sound and playing music and connecting to that sound, you're actually bringing that vibration into your own being, your own awareness, and aligning yourself with that frequency. So I do like to bring that into my yoga practice by incorporating chanting here and there, and occasionally I will play some original music at the end of class. So
Awesome.
come out and check it out sometime.
Yeah, so noon Sundays on the deck
12
outside.
o'clock
It's beautiful, perfect time of year for it too. So I'm glad we're doing this now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.